Happy Friday, everybody. It's not a Buckeye Friday because there's no official visits this weekend, unfortunately. We're officially in the dead period, which is really boring, apparently, or supposed to be, but wasn't super boring yesterday, and it's probably not going to be boring today at noon. But Dan, how are you? What's going on? Anything new?
Oh man, just in my world, every Friday is Buckeye Friday.
Okay.
We got booms coming.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
We'll
we
file
do.
an exemption.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. We exemption accepted. So, speaking of booms, Brody Lennon, 3-star tight end, probably going to be 4-star by the time all said and done. Commits to Ohio State yesterday. Kind of a little bit out of the blue. Wasn't like I wasn't tracking that. I mean, I know they really liked him. I know they had him in for his OV. It seemed like it went really well. I think Nate Roberts was here with him, kind of like the dynamic duo, Batman and not Batman or whatever. I don't know. I didn't want to say Robin because he has spangly tights. But tell me a little bit about Brody Lennon. You love him. I know I like him a lot. He's tall.
Yeah, no, I mean, I fully expected it. Once they extended that offer, I think it was 2 weeks ago now at
Mm-hmm.
camp, he came in and really did well. The knock on Brody is that he plays in a very small conference.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Gilmore Academy up there in Cleveland. There's
Yep.
some talk that it'd be nice if he got over to Ignatius or Eds and up the level of competition. I don't think it's going to happen. Um, because he's at a smaller school, he's a two-way player. He actually reminds me a lot of Sam Hubbard in his
You read
defensive
my
end film.
mind.
I mean, his defensive end film
Mm-hmm.
is interesting, but they like him a lot. He's I think 6'4", two. What'd you say? 6'3", 220, 6'4", 220?
6'4". Yeah, he comes in at 6'4",
Yeah,
about
and
220,
and he
225.
apparently ran like a 4.52, which is moving.
Yeah, that's moving for a tight end. Yeah.
So, he's a very confident kid. He doesn't look at himself as the second tight end in the class. He looks at himself as one of two. And, he's an Ohio kid, so he's going to get the rivalry. And,
Yeah.
we need those kids to round out the class. But by no means do I think he's a throw in. I think
No,
he's a legit, solid, prospect.
I was excited. Ohio kid. Put the film on. Sam Hubbard tracks. The other person I like as far as his pass catching skills, he reminds me of Jeremy Ruckert. Ruckert wasn't quite as tall, but like from a pass catcher standpoint, Jeremy Ruckert came to mind. So I had a couple people ask me for comps. I'll give you Jeremy Ruckert. So,
Yeah.
Ruckert came in not really known for blocking, a little bit of a leaner guy, really great route runner, pretty quick, good pass catcher. And yeah, Lennon does play both ways. And yeah, his film as a defensive end, he's, you know, um, I think it's nice that he plays both ways, so he understands, a defensive scheme.
Yeah, for sure. And,
Yeah,
he's athletic. He's got good feet.
yep,
Um,
quick feet.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I would use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you have Instagram pulled up for Trajan Odom at noon Eastern, 11 Central, 9 a.m. Pacific. So are you feeling good? I'm feeling good. I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, all the crystal balls have come in for
Yeah.
him recently. I don't.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked at this point if it's not us. I think it'd
Mm-hmm.
be a really big surprise.
Yeah.
Um, Trajan is. I mean, he's a solid 4-star prospect.
Dude. Wow.
He looks really good.
Yeah. He does. And I know I'll give a shout out to Mark Porter on Bucknuts because Mark is a great talent evaluator. Like he he does all that stuff with Scouting Ohio, but he pulled up Trajan. I can't say I paid a ton of attention to Trajan Odin's film because I didn't think we were going to get him. And then he pulled up his film, and I'm like, "Who's this cat?" Like, you're looking at him like he is quick, he's strong. Um, the power is what's impressive, especially on the inside. He's only going to get better. And so, yeah, what an addition to this class. Waiting on that boom. Obviously, this will come out after his announcement, so we'll make sure to hold off on that and not steal the kids' thunder. But and then another one that I'm very closely watching, and I know you are as well, is Maxwell Roy. Interesting development with him. Everybody thought he was a Michigan lean, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of crystal balls start rolling in for Ohio State. So Maxwell Roy, maybe not as highly rated as Trajan Oden or Malik Autry, but thoughts? Think he
Yeah,
ends up in the class?
I think what happened with him is he took his OV to Michigan, and the Michigan, contingency started speaking to him as a priority, and a crystal ball came in,
Mm-hmm.
where there was talk of him going to Michigan, but then boom, boom, there were two Ohio State crystal balls in the last day or so.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, no, I mean he's a St. Joe's prep guy.
Yep.
Same school as Isaiah West, McCord, Harrison, Jim Knowles.
Yep.
Um,
A lot of folks from the
yeah, so we've got a good pipeline going to that school right now, and
yeah.
it doesn't surprise me that he would pick us with Isaiah West coming over as well. I'm sure they're buddies.
Yeah. So
Another
there's
good, solid 4-star pickup.
so I caught this on Instagram. This is a person, um, more or less, saying what has happened with.
He's begging. Let's be honest about what this is, Chad.
Okay, yeah, he's
He is
begging.
literally at the doorstep of his girlfriend, begging her to take him back with
Yeah,
this post. It's
yeah,
one of the most egregious things I've ever seen on Instagram of chatting or tweeting or posting at a high school player. It's
yeah.
hilarious.
Well, he brings up
It's
Chase
like a
Young in
love
here,
letter.
and yeah. So the Michigan faithful down bad, I guess, with this recruiting cycle. But I thought I'm probably going to get some kind of copyright something now.
It's Instagram.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's public. Yeah. Then I know I sent you this over, so I want to play a game like in or out, basically, with some of the players we have coming up. And I know you're really tapped into the recruiting beat, and you do a good job of kind of keeping me honest too, because if you guys haven't noticed, I'm a little bit of a homer, and so I tend to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst rather than like expect that a kid's not going to come here. I just hope that they do. So, not yet recruited commits. So I'm going to start with Dorian Brew, in or out, 2025
In.
class.
And it might
In.
be today.
Okay.
I have a feeling he's going to commit today.
Okay. That could happen.
Or this weekend. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw a tweet from Mr. Sanchez that today is a great day to be a Buckeye. Now, he could very well be referring to Trajan Odom,
Mm-hmm.
And or Maxwell Roy. But I've got a feeling that, there's been rumors that Brew is imminent.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that might happen today.
Okay. I am also with you in. I have Dorian Brew in the class. Malik Autry.
Oh, man. I want to say in, but if I had to put money on it, I'd say out. I think we gave him a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So somebody finally came up with an analogy the other day that like getting Malik Autry would be the equivalent of Auburn flipping Jack Sawyer when he was a recruit. Was that you that said that?
Yeah, it was me on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, he's been recruited there forever. He lives 15 minutes from campus. Somebody said the other day he may have family that works in the
That
administration.
was me also. He has family that works in the administration.
Did you put that on Twitter? I don't think
I
saw
did.
it from you on Twitter.
Yeah, I did. So somebody asked me about Malik Autry, and I replied. I'll find it in my replies. But yeah, I basically said that would be the equivalent of Jack Sawyer flipping to Alabama when he was in our recruiting class, and because Jack Sawyer went to Olentangy, et cetera, and and then he also has a couple family members that work in the administrative building at Auburn. But I mean, he's also got to do what's best for him. So it could happen. But yeah. And then the funny thing was, I think one of the other beat reporters put that out there too after the fact. But I definitely put that out on Twitter. But yeah, as far as Malik Autry goes, I am 51-49. So 51% in the class, 49 out. So I think we gave him a lot to think about. I would love for him to be a Buckeye. Now, if I was betting my house, I wouldn't take the. I wouldn't bet that he's in the class. But
Well, then I hope you're homeless.
yeah. All right. So Maxwell Roy, we just talked about, but I have him in. What about you?
Same.
Okay. Trajan Odom in. Justin Hill. This is one I keep getting a lot of questions about on Twitter, and I'm sure you've seen them.
Justin Hill, if he's not in this class, it would be an upset of the likes of the 1980 Miracle on Ice.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, I know they really want to play up the fact that his mother is a Bama fan, but the reality is that I want to say it's the stepfather that's a Bama fan, and she's kind of drank the Kool-Aid, but she also grew up an Ohio State fan.
Okay.
Jermaine Matthews put out the graphic with him and Mayan and Justin Hill the other day talking about Winton Wood boys going to Ohio State. I've been told he's been a silent for a while now.
Okay.
I would be utterly shocked if he doesn't pick us next week.
So the question is coming from the crazy amount of smoke, and I know you've seen it too, around Riley Pettyjohn. I don't think Pettyjohn affects Justin Hill. Like it doesn't. Like it's apples and pears.
No.
So
no, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I could see Pettyjohn, Hill, and Alford as a starting three, or on the field a lot together, depending on situation. That would be a ridiculous class, and Eli.
And you got Eli Lee in there
too. So, no,
it's
I don't think so. I mean, Pettyjohn is a prototypical first round NFL linebacker, and Hill's a guy that you move around a lot.
Yep. Okay. So I have Hill in the class, and I'm 99 out of 100 on that. So just based off of you and other folks that we talked to. And this is an interesting.
I think Berm almost slipped up the other day.
He did. He did. You caught it. You did too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
all right,
I saw someone comment on Juck's show about it, and then I went back and watched it, and I'm like, yeah,
that was almost a big whoops.
And he said something this morning again too. That I'm pretty sure he's got that commitment video shot already.
Oh yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I would guess that he's done the commitment video, and I bet he did the graphic. Probably not Hayes. I bet Berm did the graphic. So, this is an interesting one. Andrew Stargell, because we have the Jake Cook commitment.
Man, he just got a crystal ball to UCF, and Juck said on his show this morning that he reached out to him, and Stargell's response was, "Really? Where?" Stargell claims he's cool with Ohio State, and he's still greenlit to commit. I think there's an assumption out there that both him and Cook would be centers. And a couple things with that. Number one, Andrew Stargell is a center. He's 6'3", he's a center. Cook, I think, is a little bit more versatile. He could kick out the guard. All right. Take that out of the equation for a minute. Man, we've got 2 linemen in this class right now. And obviously we're going all in on David Sanders, and we think we're going to get McFadden, but that puts us at 4. We need more. I don't understand why we wouldn't take an Andrew Stargell.
Yeah.
Stargell. The notion that he's a no take at this point, it's not what he's been told.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand as to why that would be the case.
So I cannot say who told me this. I've been told that they would take both. So
they have to.
Yeah. So because my understanding is that they want 5 in this class, and I think you have the same understanding. So I'd be surprised if he picked I think he's in the class, but if he picked somewhere else, because of the Cook commitment, then that's on him. But he's not. They're not going to take him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a funny situation. It's a funny situation. Jakeem Stewart.
All right, I'm going with logic here, and I'll say out.
Okay.
Do I think we're going to do everything in the world to get him? Yes. Do I think the biggest NIL donor out there has a blank check for him? Yes. It's just really hard. Now, the things working in our favor, number one, I know he really, really, really likes Larry Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
but he really likes Alan Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're from like Alan Clark is from down in the boot.
Yep.
And he said in an interview recently, like they talk the same language.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we can undervalue that relationship.
No, not at all.
Um, he is going to reclassify. He's done everything he's supposed to in order to reclassify,
Yep.
including the paperwork and the coursework. It would be very, very odd if he decided not to at this point. Logic, no. Gut instinct, yes.
Okay. So you and Chuck both like caught me up to speed. I didn't know he was as far along as he was in reclassifying.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of rumor, and you know how rumors go, man. I.e., you can see David Sanders' girlfriend situation. So that
We'll talk
isn't,
about that in a minute.
yeah. But or a man, Manti Te'o's girlfriend that lived in Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah, they might be the same person.
Yeah, probably. But I'm gonna differ from you on this. I have him in. I think Larry Johnson pulls this one off. I think this is Keon Keeley all over again, but we win it this time. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go.
but Keon Keeley wasn't from Alabama.
No, I know that.
You know, there's that extra added element of him being
Yeah.
from Baton Rouge.
Okay. All right. Somebody I didn't put on here because I was kind of bummed. Was Damian Shanklin, but I don't think I think we're out of that based off everything else that's going on.
When he's announcing, is it next week or
Yeah,
next
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's
he,
one.
He said
Everybody.
he's down to us, LSU, and
Bama.
Bama.
Yeah, I think it's Bama. He likes the South.
I think he's fascinated with the whole SEC.
Yeah. Well, we've heard that. Like he's.
Thing.
Yeah. I think he ends up at LSU, but.
Yeah.
All right. This is another one everybody wants to ask us about, and I don't have any information for you. I wish I did. Trey McNutt. I don't. You flip a coin.
I mean, he's been crystal balled now by Justin Hopkins. You know, I think he's with On3, but he's an Oregon guy, so take that with a grain of salt.
On3 so much.
I don't think anybody at all knows.
I don't know if he knows
what's going on now. Berm is like he's burning down the boats on this one. That Trey McNutt will not be in the class. A lot of people are saying that it feels like Aaron Scott last year, but Berm, you know, he went as far as saying he's like, listen, you know, Aaron Scott told me that it was Ohio State about a month out, but he asked me not to say anything because he wanted to keep people guessing, like he wanted to play the game. He said, I haven't got that from Trey. Dude, I just think Trey's a different bird, man.
Yeah.
I think he's a different cat. I think he wants to stay home. There's the thing with the mom that, you know, people are under the impression that she doesn't want him to. I don't know if I buy that. I mean, I buy the issue that's at hand, and it's a public issue. Right. So, I mean, I don't think we're exposing any secrets. Like there's articles out there about it, that there were issues between her and his father, and that, you know, she's got PTSD from it, you know, for lack of a better term, and that she doesn't like him being referred to as a legacy. But I have a feeling that once this OV season settles down, and he's back home full time, focused on the season, and is able to get down to Columbus for games whenever he wants, you know, it's the bedroom walls covered in Ohio State stuff as a kid thing that you know I keep going back to. Now David Sanders' room is covered in was covered in Clemson stuff, but
Yeah.
but he's not from South Carolina. He's from the Carolinas. I guess they all claim Clemson. It's such a small footprint, but I don't know, man. It's the toughest one out there. I don't think anybody knows what Trey McNutt is thinking, and anybody that says they know, I think, is lying.
You're full of it. Yeah. I don't know if he knows, and that's the thing. And so if he doesn't know, and nobody else is going to know, I don't count out Tim Moulton. And you're right. If he comes home,
And Matt Goreri is,
yeah,
is his
Matt Guerrero,
position
yeah,
coach, and he's
yeah,
got a good relationship with him.
and comes to a couple games, and it's loud and rocking, and Ohio State's doing well, and there's always that chance. But if I had to put money on today, I have him out. So
Yeah, I think if Ohio State knew he was out, that Delhomme would be in the class already.
fair, okay, fair. All right. So one I threw in here for fun. There's two of them back to back, two running backs. Shakai Mills Knight, kind of percolated up back on my radar because of the Jordan Davison, I'll call it situation. So, are we back in on him?
I mean, we're recruiting him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Locke ever really stopped recruiting him.
I don't think he did either.
I mean, I think he likes him.
Mm.
I think he's got kind of a soft spot in his heart for him because of the Chattanooga connection.
Yep.
While Locke is not
cool,
from
right?
Chattanooga, he played ball at UTC. I think he really, really likes his mentality. I think he really, really likes his size.
Big kid.
Yeah, real big kid. So I don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
You don't have to do in or out. I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that there's two running backs that are, so everybody's like, oh, what are we going to do? So they're in on Shakai Mills Knight, and my word around town, and I'm sure you've heard this too, is they've circled back on Anthony Turbo Rogers.
I can see him in the class before Knight.
Yeah.
Just because he's so different than the other two guys.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of chatter out there that Bo Jackson wasn't under the impression that we would be taking three backs. I can't see that being the case. We went over that on Tuesday's show. I don't.
I thought he put out a thing on Instagram that debunked that.
He did?
I thought he did.
Huh. I don't
Maybe
know.
not. Maybe I'm crazy.
But, one guy that's not on this list that they could take as that kind of look at as the third back of the class is Preston Bowman, who they offered recently from, Cincinnati. Is he from Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, darn it, man.
Dude, he's a stud, and I think his mom works at the school.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. So now he's committed to Kentucky.
Correct.
But he's kind of, he can fill that X role, that Xavier Johnson role,
Mm-hmm.
kind of be the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
So he could end up being the third guy.
Good.
And dude, that kid is good. There's a clip of him. I don't know who put it out the other day. It might have been Gerdeman, of him fielding a snap on a punt. And it looked like it was 4 feet above his head. And he went up and got it.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was Tony Gerderman or somebody from, yeah.
We want to give credit when we know, but we're doing some of this stuff on the fly. So if that was your video, that was spot on, man.
It was. Yeah. I don't have it in our notes. I have it on my phone about Preston Bowman. So thanks, Dan. You stole my thunder.
We're on the same wavelength.
I know, man. Well, I will pause right here. And I think I should thank you, Dan, because the comments we get on Twitter and YouTube about our, like, the way we work well together, like our synergy or whatever, we get a lot of compliments. So thank you guys for complimenting us. But Dan keeps me honest, man. He is in the thick of it. He does a lot of the replies. I'm just the IT nerd behind the scenes. That's
not true, man. It's a team effort, brother.
I know, but like we have two very different skill sets. And so thank you guys for the compliments, but yeah, I should thank Dan too, because he's on it, man. He's in it. He's in the groups. He does it all, man, and he keeps me honest. So
Right back at you, man. I'm glad you. I appreciate you having me.
no, absolutely. So Decorian Moore, and can I go first?
Sure.
In
Really?
I have Decorian Moore in my class until I'm told otherwise, because I love Decorian Moore. And you know this if you've watched our show. He's been my guy that I wanted at the receiver position in this class. And I was excited about Jamie French and some of these other guys, but Decorian Moore has been my guy because I want Decorian Moore. So he's in until I tell you otherwise.
He's my dark horse.
Okay.
In the sense that I know the kid absolutely loves Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I know he loves Heartline. I know he loves Devin Jordan. And for his mother to say what she said, I have a feeling he's a dark horse. Now, one thing that makes me back off of that a little bit is that we all know that the Sanchez's are very active in the chats, and Miss Sanchez in particular, for Bucknuts. And she went as far as saying that Sanders, Hill, and Brew were in the class, but she said nothing at all about Moore. So I'm hoping that means she's just 100% convinced of those other three, and that, Moore is still to be determined. But he's my dark horse just because of what his mom said, and because we know that he enjoyed his first visit so much that he convinced his mom to go for another one.
Yeah.
And then she came out of it saying, I understand now. This is going to be hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. And then the other guy, so if for some reason, and we don't get to Decorian Moore, and then I come out of my corner after crying for a little bit, Philip Bell, it would be my other guy that I would absolutely. I don't have him in our class right now, but I would love, love, love to get him if we can't bring in Decorian Moore. So where are you in, out, kind of in the middle on Philip Bell?
I think he's in if we don't get more.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Honestly, I think. The crystal balls came out for him to be here, but again, that was on the heels of an OV, and I got to be honest with you, man. And I'm not throwing shade at these crystal ball guys, but man, I wish I could have a job being wrong that often and get
Right?
paid for it.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of their own right now with what the nature and the
With NIL and everything.
with everything that's going on. It's no fault of theirs anymore. But I don't know. I've never dug into like people's prediction percentages and stuff like that. I saw somebody the other day's, prediction, and like it was like 100%. I'm just like, well, wait a minute. How many times did they change it?
Well, 100%. And how do we, like, they haven't signed their letter of intent. So,
well, it was based on past
okay.
predictions.
All right.
So, I don't know. There's some of these schools allow you to retake tests until you get the grade you want. Is that how that works? I don't
Probably.
know.
Well, there's no secret, and you follow me on Twitter. The people that follow us on Twitter, you know how I feel about On3. If you followed me for any length of time, you know how I feel about On3. There's about two people in the world that I follow from a prediction standpoint that I actually trust. One of them is Bill Kurlick, because Bill is probably one of the most conservative crystal ball rollers there is. And the other one, was and he's not very well known, is Caleb Longhurst. So he does a pretty good job. Now he's pretty much Ohio State. He's not super national, but he does a pretty decent job. So for what it is.
Yeah. What is he's in one of the chat groups that I'm in. What is it that he does? What does he do?
so he does mostly graphic work, but he started putting out predictions late over like last year and a half. Like he calls them planet predictions, so I don't know who he actually works for, if that's Rivals or but yeah, he does it like he's been pretty accurate. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to say he's Bill Kurlick level because Bill knows everybody everywhere in the business. But and funny enough, I used to really really like Tom Loy, and then like over the last 2 years, Tom Loy's been absolute garbage. He's been wrong more than he's been right. And I used to like Steve Wolfong, and now he's too big.
No, I think Wolfong is bought into the we need as many clicks as we can get
Right.
type thing.
Um,
Now with that being said, I love his take on David Sanders.
yes, yeah, I'll take that all day to the bank. All
I
right,
think
so
he's brilliant for that one.
we already know where you are with this, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. David Sanders,
I got him in.
same. All right,
I mean,
and
I'm going as far as saying that I've been told that he's a silent, and going back to before his OV.
okay, so
Now, you know, we know how people feel about silence,
yeah,
silent commits, but
I have a follow up question on that. I want to ask you.
good.
Oh, all right. Um, so you saw Talking Stuff. I know you did, and Berm talked about a number that Tennessee has. And then shortly thereafter, there's been some tweets from the foundation to like up our ante, essentially. Now, what I have been told, and I want to confirm this with you, and I saved it for the show just because that's how we do some stuff. That we have the money, and that there is someone in particular that has that money set aside for the trenches, we'll call it, and that shouldn't be a problem. And so, is that why you're so confident? And is that
No,
accurate?
number one, what you just said is accurate. Yes, there is a huge donor out there that has point blank said, you go out and get what you want on the offensive and defensive line. I think the number I heard with Tennessee was between 2 to 2.5 million.
Same.
I don't think that's far fetched for a franchise left tackle. I don't think that there needs to be a fundraising effort in order to get him, if that's what you're asking. The money's there.
I
Like you
wasn't
said, the
really
money's
asking
there.
that, but
Yeah, the money's there.
okay.
I just think I've been told that he's been a silent commit for a while.
Okay. I believe you. It's not that I don't. I was confirming. So, you know how it is. There's so many rumors and so many topics. And on that topic, so I guess he has or no longer has a girlfriend that goes to the University of Tennessee.
I mean, according to him, he tweeted out like in response to that, what girlfriend? So who knows, man? I mean, there's so much stuff that gets said during this time frame, man. I mean, dude, I'm in chat groups, in which I've shared information before, and it took on such a life of its own and turned into something completely different than what I said within the chat group that I don't like. It's just a silly season.
Yeah, silly season indeed. For sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like it was funny that he said what girlfriend. I don't know. I don't even know where that rumor started. Like, but it's been perpetuated for a while. And the last one, and I think we talked about him a little bit already. But Riley Pettyjohn, I have him in. I think the smoke is real. I think the James Laurinaitis effect is real. I think the intention to play with TJ Alford is real. And that would be a heck of a class.
Yeah, I also think he feels slighted by Texas, right? They've apparently prioritized Ferramo ahead of him.
Madden for him. Isn't he committed to Notre Dame?
No, no,
Okay, so he's just crystal ball to Notre Dame.
I don't know. I haven't seen the crystal balls on him.
Okay,
There's a lineman out there too, Fasamo, that's really close to that. I think that
All right.
we might be
That
able
might
to
be
get
what it
stuff
was.
from him.
So, got one more for you, and I'm not doing in or out, but I know you saw the video, and because I think you shared it or Chuck shared it in our group. Micah DeBose trolling us with the OSU towel and gloves at the On3 event. Um, I don't really know what to say about that. Like, was that a troll job, or was he just using them, or like it's on video?
It's all right, man. We're human. Um, Here's what I'll say about Micah DeBose. Um, this is what I've heard. I've heard that Alabama really, really pressures kids to commit on their official visit, which is the exact opposite of what Ohio State does.
Mm.
But like they really pressure them. I've heard that he's been in consistent contact with Ohio State since that commitment,
Okay.
and that he was. I mean, I saw a lot of people, coming out of his OV. There are a lot of people in the Ohio State world that thought he had committed. So I don't think that's over by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
Um,
I know we made inroads with him. I mean, I like there was a
he's
lot of
from
positivity.
he lived in Cleveland until he was 10 years old. He grew
Yeah.
up an Ohio State fan. His
Yeah.
family is Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll see.
okay. So in and around that topic, so we did talk through a bunch of names, bunch of positions, in or out. Is there a position group that you still feel like we might be a little short or we're missing the boat on? Looking across at it, what they've done with this class, I mean, it's pretty level. If I was going to say anything, like for me personally, it would be O line right now, in a nod of the head to maybe like the defensive end position. So what do you think? Are we short anywhere?
I mean, we're definitely short on the O line right now. We've got two guys committed, and we're in a battle with the biggest fish out there.
Mm,
I think some people might argue wide receiver just because we don't have that 5-star. But number one, we have a 5-star in the class. We have a borderline 5-star based on actual rankings, and then we have a 5-star in there in Des Jones. The
mm,
kid is a 5-star talent all day, every day. He didn't play the camp game. He didn't do the camp circuit. He's not kowtowing to the rating agencies.
correct.
Kid's a
Yeah.
5-star talent.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I mean, O line. Listen, this is a make or break recruiting season for Justin Fry.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck did a really nice bit on the blue chip ratio. I mean, Ohio State's current roster has a 90% blue chip ratio. That means 90% of the players on the team were 4 and 5 stars. Justin Fry's position group blue chip rating is 40%. Now, I'm a big advocate of saying that you don't need a bunch of 4, a bunch of 5 stars. But he's on the clock, man.
Yeah, I agree
He's
with
on
you.
watch when it comes to this stuff.
Okay. I get it. I'm with you, man. Like you and I, we're aligned, and you know it on that. So, so I found this funny comment, and I put it in our notes on purpose. But last year, I guess it was 2 years ago. We lost out on the big three: Uyunglele, Keon Keeley, that group with
Dylan
Larry
Stewart.
Johnson and Stewart, and then last year we have a couple flips, but they keep Edric Houston. So is this year, is this Larry Johnson's John Wick moment where people keep asking him if he's back? And I'm pretty sure he's back, because like what he's got in the pipeline, if everybody sticks, is this his swan song? Are we looking at the last 4 years of Larry Johnson's tenure at Ohio State? And this year, like he's bringing in his Assassin's Creed group, and he's going to coach them up, and then somebody's going to come in as an analyst in the next year or two. And what do you think? Like, is he like, because man, what a job so far.
I mean, he's doing a great job. I mean, Larry Johnson's the greatest of all time. He's a GOAT.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
a goat
greatest defensive line coach in the history of college football.
for sure.
Um, and kids know that,
Yeah.
and I think that Allen's done a really, really good job of complimenting him on the recruiting trail.
Yep.
I think that this new coaching rule that just came out
Yeah, we'll touch on it.
is going to prolong Larry Johnson's career even longer than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because coaching and energy is not a problem for Larry Johnson.
It is not. No, man, that dude gets hyped, man. He gets
Yeah.
hyped for a
So
70-year-old dude.
73, man. He was
Yeah.
older. He's older than Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope I have that kind of juice when I'm 73, man.
yeah, I hope I have that kind of money when I'm 73.
That too.
So yeah, I mean, I think the demise of Larry Johnson was way more overrated than this being a John Wick moment for Larry Johnson.
Okay. Odom has committed to Ohio State.
Did he
Breaking
commit?
live right now. Yep, here I have it.
How'd you get it? You on Instagram?
Nah, that's Twitter, man.
You beat me to Instagram?
Scarlet and Gray podcast dropped it.
I know you don't like to get political, but my 15-year-old daughter just texted, Biden has got to be a social experiment.
Yeah, I try not to, man. So the other thing I had on our notes, not on our show notes, but I wanted to ask you about. So it dropped yesterday that Faison Brandon, the 2026 quarterback, is somebody that we both talked about and I like out of California. Will not be including Ohio State in his, I believe it was top 6. And you and I, we had a really good segment. We got a lot of great feedback about it, about the 2026 quarterback being in limbo. And so I was just trying to think, like, maybe is this a year where we, take a developmental guy or kind of somebody to fill? And I know that there, I'm going to shout out to Chris Drew for this, but I know Chris Drew really likes Levi Davis out of Olentangy, and the new measurables on him are he's no longer 5'11", 175. He's 6 foot 185. He's going into his junior year. So I grew 4 inches between my sophomore year and my junior year as an individual. So I went from 5'7" to 5'11 and a half, like over the course of that year. Like some men do, like we grow, protein, nutrition, whatever. So if he continues to grow, like he's athletic, would he be somebody that, because we're not going to go get a top 10 quarterback in the 2026 class with Tavian St. Clair, Julian Sayin, and this pipeline that we have. And it's a limbo class. We talked about it. So I know you said, who was it? Ryan Day didn't really like him. I don't remember what you said.
No, I don't ever see Ryan Day taking a quarterback that's short.
Okay.
Now if there's a year to take a flyer on somebody, it's that year.
He's Bryce Young. I mean, he's Bryce Young's body.
Everything that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not Ryan Day's style.
No, it's not.
Now
Saying's smaller though.
He's not 6 foot. He's like 6'1", 6'1 and a half.
I know, but I'm saying he's
slight
shorter.
Of frame.
Yeah.
No, it's the height thing. It's strictly the height thing.
Okay.
I don't think Ryan cares about the build as much as he does the height.
Okay.
But who knows? Who knows what sort of an influence that Chip has on him when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How tall was Marcus Mariota? Do you remember when Kelly had him?
I have no idea. I mean, he was a top 1 or 2 pick in the draft, so I would say he's got to be at least 6'3".
Okay.
If not 6'4".
I just remember he was pretty slender too, like thin. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is there anybody more, slender than Lamar Jackson?
Bryce Young.
I mean, when he came, I don't know, man. When Lamar Jackson came out of college.
Oh yeah. Okay. When he came out. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel's not very big. He's 5'9", if he's lucky.
Dude, if he's wearing boosters, he's 5'9". That guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope we give him fits. Now
It was just
he's
something.
overcome it. He's overcome it during the last 9 years of his college football career.
It's 10. This is year 10.
Yeah, this is year 10. Yeah, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yes, they're called doctors. Um,
Where's David Spade when you need him?
I've met David Spade. He's a good guy. He's a weird dude. He's funny though. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've given out 12 offers and 9 guys have committed elsewhere.
Yeah.
7 of them in like the last week.
Yeah. I have a funny story sometime about Mel Gibson. I'll have to tell you. I can tell it's a short story. So me and some buddies were in LA and we were walking across the street and my one friend Joe is like, that's gotta be Mel Gibson. And he's like, Mel, and he yells and Mel turns around and goes, yo, like that. And it really was him, but like from Lethal Weapon, like the crazy eyes and everything. Yeah, it was really a funny moment. Now this is like 20 years ago, but
that's funny.
Yeah. All right. So the NCAA, Dan, we'll do like a 10-minute segment on this or maybe less, made some rule changes and you sent them to me. And your text to me said, I wonder why they did this. It's a mystery. So moving forward, schools and individuals can earn exemplary cooperation during an infraction case by doing the following: volunteering all pertinent school and personal information that is in the party's possession or should be reasonably expected to further the infractions process and its expectations. That's bullet point number 1. Why would they do this, Dan? Why now?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
You know what stumps me even more is why they didn't just call this the Michigan rules.
I was taking a drink, man.
I mean, let's go through these.
Yeah.
Identifying individuals to be interviewed of whom the enforcement staff might otherwise be unaware. Expending substantial resources, financial, dedication of personnel, unfettered access to information to expedite the gathering of information. Taking sufficient action to address violations through self-imposed penalties or proposing meaningful corrective measures. And recognizing and bringing to the attention of the enforcement staff violations related to the investigation about which the enforcement staff might otherwise be unaware. I mean, come on. I mean, this is literally the exact opposite of what was reported as to how Michigan was handling the investigation.
But the beats reporting Michigan, nothing's happening to Michigan, and they have no smoking gun, and everything's okay, and they're going to be fine.
They did that on their paywalls to get people excited, and it's also recruiting season. Let's not forget that.
We know.
Let's
but
not
yeah, this
that.
You're right.
I mean,
that's good.
This is the second bylaw or rule that they've implemented. They also implemented something that, towards the end of the season or shortly after the end of the season, that said they could dole out initial punishment prior to an investigation being completed based on undeniable and proven information. I mean, why did they create that on the heels of the Michigan scandal? Like, I'm convinced that the NCAA would have given them a postseason ban last year if they could have, but their bylaws don't allow for it.
Yeah, their bylaws didn't allow for it. Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
So, yeah, I mean, I saw this come out and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it literally speaks to everything that the Big Ten sent over that they knew about to Michigan before they suspended Harbaugh. Like, it's literally like they just went, okay, this line means this and this line means this.
Not only that, but going back to Cheeseburger Gate, like when they doled out the sanctions for Cheeseburger Gate recently, like they gave show causes to everybody, and they made it a point to say that there is one remaining staff member who has not been cooperative that further sanctions can be applied to in the future.
Yeah.
This case is not officially closed.
Yeah.
That was Harbaugh.
we're gonna get hammered by the Michigan trolls for this one, but
I don't care. They're delusional if they
yeah,
think nothing's going to happen. Look at what just happened to Arizona State.
my goodness, wow, dude, like
And they
Arizona
cooperate.
did everything.
They literally did everything that this outlines, man. Like they were so forthcoming and
Yeah,
so cooperative and so proactive with the way they handled that. And that was just recruiting. That was off-field recruiting violations
they
during
put
COVID.
everything on a silver platter for the NCAA, and they were overly cooperative as far as I'm concerned.
And they still got hammered. They
And
got
they
a
still got
postseason. They
drilled.
got a vacated wins. They
Yeah,
vacated wins for off-field infractions.
yeah,
And people in Michigan think they're not going to vacate wins for on-field cheating.
yeah.
They're just freaking delusional, man. They're delusional. They're our most delusional fan base in the world.
But it was grainy iPhone footage, Dan. That one, it'll be in 40 years. I'm going to still refer to things as grainy iPhone footage, just because I like. Oh, gosh, it's up there with one of the dumbest things I've heard.
It's like the Zapruder film.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Hey, big boom.
Yeah, big
Trajan
boom.
Odom. Big
So
pickup.
the
If you haven't
Buckeyes are
watched this
rolling,
film,
man.
go out and do it.
Yeah, they are rolling. Man, oh man, are they rolling? So, uh, it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Buckeye. I'm so thankful that we have NIL figured out now. And it'll be fun to watch. I know we're in a dead period, but next weekend, the July 3rd weekend, there's like 3 or 4, I think 3 commits for sure announcing. So I expect at least 2 of them to be Buckeyes. So we'll see. I mean, things are popping along. So I hope you guys enjoyed our in or out segment too, because I know a lot of you ask about that. Like people DM me and they're like, "Hey, what about this guy?" So hopefully this helps you take a few minutes and watch that. But don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button, because I forgot to state it at the beginning of the show. But Dan, any last words from you, man?
No, that's it, brother. I think we got a big week ahead of us. There's a lot of guys that should be committing between now and the 4th of July.
Yeah, I got it for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there. If you're in Ohio, it looks like we have some nasty weather coming. So, but otherwise, actually, can I do one thing, Dan?
Sure.
How about the Tribe? Best record in baseball. So, management, I hope you do something to help them.
I think they fell behind the Phillies in the last couple of days, but
Okay.
One of the lowest payrolls and the best record in baseball, man.
Yeah.
Steve Vought's doing is it Vaught or Voigt?
Yeah, Stephen Vogt. Yeah.
Vogt. Doing a fantastic job, man. And I mean, who'd have thunk it? I mean, they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league this year too, compared to last year. They did it with smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. Well, I hope they go, with Bieber getting hurt and Tristan McKenzie's not right. I hope they go, like, management will let them go get a legit number 2 starter, because I think if they could find another starter and maybe a serviceable number 5 guy, they could make a run with what they have. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series, but they're hot right now. And you add another arm that can give you 6 or 7 innings so you don't burn your bullpen out, they're going to be all right. But go Tribe. And I'm not going to call them the G's or whatever they are. So they're the Indians. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys for listening. As always, like and subscribe. We very much appreciate all your comments. So comment, ask a question. We'll get back to you, I promise, unless you're belligerent, and then we probably will just ban you. But otherwise, you guys have a good weekend.
I'll reply.
Okay. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe.
I'm immature enough to reply.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. All right. And as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.